Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the mental health benefits of nostalgia and nostalgia overall. So, there was a famous experiment called the Southampton Nostalgia Scale, and essentially what it did is that it helped to measure the impact that nostalgia has on our psychological well being, and it described nostalgia as the net effect to make life seem more meaningful and death less frightening. So they found out that typically when people speak positively of their past and think of their past in a more positive way, they often are more optimistic and more inspired about their future. So, nostalgia can have a positive effect on your mental health, keyword, if you use it appropriately. So, that is the most important thing if you're using it in the appropriate way. So, let's talk about some benefits of nostalgia. So, the first benefit is that it helps you feel more empathetic and more emotionally connected to others. So, through empathy, you could feel a stronger feeling of belonging. And typically, when people feel like they belong, they will become more of a generous person. And when I say generous, it doesn't necessarily mean just with money or financially, but generous with their time, and generous in other ways. So that's the first benefit. The second benefit is that people who experience nostalgia can actually use that to help reduce their stress. So in 2012, there was a study done by the journal Memory, and basically what the researchers found was that experiencing nostalgia helps people to relate their past experiences to their present lives, and that helps them to derive greater meaning from their life. So if you feel loved and if you feel like you have a lot of meaning in your life, that can help to reduce your stress, because if you are living a life full of meaning, that fulfills you in such a way that it can help to reduce your stress levels. So that is the second benefit of nostalgia. The third benefit is that it really helps with life transitions. And I'm sure in the previous year, a lot of you watching have experienced substantial life transitions with your job, perhaps your school, with your relationships, with your family. There have been so many huge changes. And when you are in a position of transition in your life, and this can be any type of transition, if you look back on the previous situation you're in, or if you're looking back at what you are transitioning out of and appreciate what you went through, that can help you with coping with concerns about your future. So when you are in a stage of transition, it's really helpful if you look back at your life and do your best to appreciate the experiences you have gone through. So those are some of the benefits of nostalgia. I'd love to wrap up this video to give you 3 solid tips on how you can productively use nostalgia as a tool to help to increase your psychological health and your mental health overall. So the first tip is to always do your best to build nostalgic memories when you do have the opportunity. The second benefit, or the second tip, is to if you start to notice that you are in a down slump or you're not feeling very good, to look into your memory, or not look, but think about your memory bank and think about some positive memories that have happened to you in the past, and that can actually instantly improve your mood. So that is very important. The third tip is to not compare your present life with past memories, and use it as a source of comparison. So this is actually a very terrible way of using nostalgia, And if you use nostalgia in this way, you're actually risking ruining the positive effects of nostalgia overall. Um, Instead of doing a comparison, consider the past in a way where you can kind of think about it in an existential way. So, by existential way, I mean by looking at what the meaning from the past was. So, keep that in mind. Do not compare where you are now to where you were and then assume that you're in a bad position now and you're in a much better position before. Um, when you do look at your life, do look at the past in a way where you are deriving meaning from it. So I would love to hear from you. Do you use nostalgia? Do you find nostalgia to be helpful for your mental health? Be free to message us or to leave us a comment down below. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I look forward to connecting with you next time.